Prime Minister Spajić, dear Mickey, welcome to NATO. It's great to see you again, and a pleasure to receive you here at the NATO headquarters. Montenegro is a highly valued NATO ally. You have deployed troops to our battle groups in Bulgaria and Latvia, helping to deter Russian aggression. In Iraq, Montenegro is contributing to building more effective and inclusive security forces as part of NATO's training mission. Montenegro also plays an important role in the Western Balkans, a region of strategic importance to NATO, which I visited last autumn. So, Prime Minister, I welcome your strong commitment to reforms and Montenegro's path to full Euro-Atlantic integration. This is even more important as stability in the broader region remains fragile. Last year's outbreak of violence in Kosovo were unacceptable, and NATO responded swiftly, deploying 1,000 additional troops and heavy armor. We are committed to ensuring that KFOR continues to fulfill its UN mandate. We also spoke about the situation in Bosnia-Herzegovina. The North Atlantic Council, all 31 NATO ambassadors, will visit Sarajevo next week, a demonstration of strong support for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Bosnia-Herzegovina. All political leaders must work to preserve unity. This is crucial for the stability of the country and the region. Russia's war against Ukraine is nearing the 2-year mark, and I welcome Montenegro's support for Ukraine, including through NATO's comprehensive assistance package. But NATO allies and the European Union need to step up and provide even more funding for Ukraine at this critical time. Because if President Putin wins in Ukraine, there is a real risk he will use force again. Today, we also discussed the preparations for our next summit in Washington in July, and our work to bolster NATO's deterrence and defense. Sweden's entry into NATO will make the whole alliance stronger. So I welcome this week's vote by the Grand National Assembly of Turkey to ratify Sweden's NATO membership. And I thank President Erdogan for his swift signature of the decision. I also welcome this week's clear message of support from Prime Minister Orbán and his government, and look forward to Hungary's ratification as soon as the Parliament reconvenes. So, Prime Minister, once again, thank you for coming here, and thank you for your strong support to our transatlantic alliance. Please.
Secretary General, dear Jens, please allow me to thank you for your extraordinary leadership and strong professional and personal commitment in navigating our alliance in these challenging times for everybody in the world. It was a pleasure to once again visit NATO headquarters and meet with you. Today's talks were timely and substantial, and great opportunity to build up on the discussions we recently had in Skopje in North Macedonia. I use this opportunity to reconfirm Montenegro's unequivocal commitment to fulfilling strategic foreign policy goals. As a credible ally, Montenegro will continue to play a constructive role and contribute to the improvement of regional cooperation and the preservation of peace and stability in the whole region. During today's meeting, I also underscored and presented in detail decisions taken in the last couple of months to advance Montenegrin EU plan. As we are all aware, there are many security challenges coming from different domains and strategic directions. Today with Secretary General, I had the opportunity to discuss progress made on the implementing decisions NATO has taken to respond to developments in and around Euro-Atlantic area. We also had the opportunity to exchange views on key objectives ahead of the Washington summit. We revisited the topics of deterrence and defense, continuous support to Ukraine, developments in South and actual hotspots, defense investments, and making our alliance ever stronger. We both agreed that it is the time to welcome Sweden as soon as possible as the next member of our alliance, and we are very glad to hear the good news coming out of Turkey as well as Hungary. We jointly concluded that Montenegro is actively contributing to NATO's core tasks and collective defense in general. We took stock of our presence in East, in Latvia, in Bulgaria, in Iraq and Kosovo. I also reconfirmed our steadfast dedication to continue supporting Ukraine for as long as it takes in its fight for sovereignty and conducting reforms important for both EU and NATO path. Topic of Western Balkans was high on the agenda. As a region of strategic importance, we agreed that it remains among the priority areas of NATO business ahead of the Washington summit. I stated that Montenegro, as NATO member for almost 7 years, understands that many global developments require constant vigilance that occupies allies' attention, and rightly so, but we shouldn't lose sight on the region. Once again, I underlined the importance of maintaining NATO's presence and interest. This is a firm guarantee of peace and stability. Montenegro expects this to be reconfirmed at the next NATO summit in Washington. In preparation for the summit, I informed that our 2024 budget envisages 2.01 GDP for defense, out of which 35.24 for modernization. We need NATO statistics to recognize this fact, but we will make sure that until July it's clear. Montenegro will continue to implement all commitments arising from membership, including contributing to the policy of deterrence and defense, strengthening capabilities and achieving goals, as well as through participation in missions and operations. In this way, we contribute to the alliance capacity to face numerous and complex challenges. Dear Jens, thank you once again for fruitful discussions held today.
How do you assess the security situation now in the region after recent events in Kosovo and in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the presence of third parties in the region of Western Balkans? Do you think that this presence has increased since Russian aggression to Ukraine? And what are mechanisms that NATO has in order to tackle this phenomena? And another question, if I may, for you. Turkish Parliament, as you said, gave a long-awaited approval to membership of Sweden to NATO, and you recently had a call with Prime Minister Orban. Do you expect that all the procedure could be finished until the next ministerial meeting in February, and that NATO can welcome Sweden as a full-fledged member until then? And for Mr. Prime Minister, does Montenegro have plans maybe to reinforce its presence in NATO-led missions in the region and on the eastern flank of the alliance? Thank you very much.
First, on the situation in the Western Balkans. Of course, the Western Balkans is of great importance for NATO. We have a history there, we have a presence there, because peace and stability in the region matters for the whole of NATO. And therefore, we were very concerned when we saw an uptick in violence and tensions throughout last year with some very serious incidents, especially in Kosovo. And that led to the decision by our military commanders to reinforce the KFOR peacekeeping mission in Kosovo with additionally 1,000 troops. Because NATO has to be able to ensure that we are delivering on our UN mandate to ensure stability and the freedom of movement for all communities in Kosovo. and that was my main message also when I visited Kosovo and the region last fall, and we are constantly assessing any need for further adjustment of our presence. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, the message is that all parties should refrain from inflammatory rhetoric and the territorial integrity and the international recognized borders of Bosnia and Herzegovina must be respected. We worked closely with the European Union, both in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We actually are working on the ground together, but also we support by our military presence in Kosovo, the EU-facilitated dialogue, and dialogue between Pristina and Belgrade is the only way forward to find a lasting solution. Then on Sweden's accession into NATO, Swedish membership in NATO will make NATO stronger and all of us safer. And therefore I welcome that Montenegro actually very rapidly ratified and accepted the Swedish accession into our alliance. I welcome the decision by the Grand National Assembly of Turkey to ratify, and also that President Erdogan, shortly after the decision, actually last night, gave his signature to the decision of the parliament. So now all the decisions are in place in Turkey. I spoke with Prime Minister Orban of Hungary earlier this week. He very clearly conveyed that he supports the accession of Sweden into NATO, and it has been made clear that the Parliament will take up this as soon as the Parliament convenes, and the message is that the Parliament will then support a ratification of Swedish membership. The message I have received from Budapest is that the Parliament will reconvene at the end of February, so we have to wait for that. But I'm absolutely confident, and I count on Hungary that the ratification of Sweden will be ratified as soon as the Parliament reconvenes at the end of February.
As in regards to Montenegro's commitment to Western Balkans, it's absolutely clear why we are stressing out and why we think it's so important for Montenegro, because we are in the heart of Western Balkans. We are surrounded by the countries of Western Balkans, and it's in our deep national interest that Western Balkans is peaceful, prosperous, lacking the foreign malign influence, and having an opportunity to become a true part of NATO, Europe, EU, and other organizations that are democratic, and they are helping the region to step forward in terms of the economy and democracy. As per our commitment, we are already very present in Kosovo. We stand ready to strengthen our position in Kosovo. We think that the situation has calmed down recently, but as we have discussed, we are always ready to help. And it's in our deep national interest, as I said, that we maintain peace in Kosovo. The same goes for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Our unwavering commitment to Bosnia's territorial integrity and peace is utmost importance for Montenegro. As I say, we share the big border with Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have offered our help in terms of the experts and training to the people in Bosnia. So we are definitely ready to be a credible ally in NATO in any shape and form.